47-year-old Rances Barthelemy, former two-division champ, battles 23-year-old Omar Juarez. This one is scheduled for 10 rounds at a contract weight of 143 pounds. Juarez hails from the border town of Brownsville, Texas, comes into the ring tonight with a heavy heart. Last Sunday, a vehicle drove into a group of people reported as intentionally killing 8 in his hometown. He was training in Las Vegas at the time. Even though he's so young, since he's been 16, he's been a motivational speaker, has spoken to over 30,000 people, most of them students, telling them to reach for the highest heights. And here he is on the cusp of his biggest win, facing his first championship caliber opponent. He enters this fight on a 3-bout winning streak. Comes off a victory over Austin DeLay last December, but he flirted with disqualification. He was deducted 3 points for low blows. And speaking of low blows, well, his opponent tonight, Mr. Barthelemy, he knows a thing or two about going, well, south of the border. And he's also flirted with disaster, but he is back here at the Chelsea, at the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas, for the first time since his infamous 12-round split draw with Robert Easter Jr. in April 2019. He's here to exorcise the demon of what was one of the most dreadfully dull affairs ever televised. And he said, wait, look at the difference from my fight against Gary Antuanne Russell, his last fight in which he was stopped controversial fashion in the 6th round. He said, I'm going to let my hands fly. And if we get the same Barthelemy tonight that we saw against Russell, hey, we're going to see some more fistic fireworks, and they have a tough act to follow coming off our first fight of the night.
We'll look at the numbers for this matchup. A big 14-year age difference. And the question is, to be answered in this fight is this fight too soon for Omar Juarez or too late for Rances Barthelemy? We're going to find out.
With the official introductions, here once again is Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Well, fans, from the Chelsea inside the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas, Premier Boxing Champions presents the co-main event of the evening in the super lightweight division. Once again, brought to you by TGB Promotions, Mayweather Promotions, and Showtime. Introducing our 3 judges scoring this bout from ringside. From New York, Max DeLuca. From Nevada, Patricia Morse-Jarman. And also from Nevada, Dave Moretti. Introducing our referee in charge, he'll be giving instructions after the introductions, Thomas Taylor. All right, fans, here we go. 10 rounds of boxing scheduled in our super lightweight special attraction. Introducing to you first on my left, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white trunks with green and red trim, joining us from Brownsville, Texas. He weighed in at 142.5 pounds with a record of 14 wins, 1 loss. He has 5 wins. Coming by way of knockout, please welcome the all-action rising super lightweight contender, introducing Omar El Relámpago Juarez. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing multicolored trunks, fighting out of Las Vegas by way of Havana, Cuba. He weighed in at 142.5 pounds. His record, 29 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 1 no decision with 15 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the renowned former 2-division champion of the world, introducing Kid Blast, Rances Barthelemy. Once again, our referee in charge now to give instructions, Thomas Taylor.
Boxer chief second, mouth guard, mouth guard. All right, corners, we're going to the top of the letters on both sides. We're a little high. You got my instructions in the back, gentlemen. Protect yourselves at all times and listen to my commands. Touch them up. Got your corner, gentlemen.
Working his 527th professional fight as a boxing referee with 13 years pro experience, the highly respected Thomas Taylor will be in charge of this Matchup scheduled for 10 rounds at 143 pounds. Experience versus youth.
Ready?
The bell and round number 1, and Barthelemy coming off that controversial stoppage against Russell, the first time that he was stopped, still aiming to become the first ever Cuban 3-division champion. He's been a champ at 130 and 135 pounds, and yet if you ask him what he would want more, a title fight or a rematch against Russell, he says he wants to run it back with Russell.
Yeah, in a fight where, you know, he disputes, and obviously a lot of people that, you know, was a bad stoppage. So I can see why he wants to fight him again. But, you know, we got this fight against Juarez. Juarez is a smaller fighter, a smart pressure fighter, and he started off really well. He jabbed he feinted to the body, and he jabbed to the face, and Barthelemy ate that jab.
Double jab through the guard of Barthelemy by Juarez, the 23-year-old. We saw a glimpse of his family. His wife, Alexa, in attendance, pregnant with their first child. Happy early Mother's Day to her.
Yes, exactly. We were wondering when Barthelemy would switch to lefty in this fight. Well, he's obliged us, as Kenneth Sims did early in this fight. And the fascinating thing about this fight is it's Omar Juarez moving around the ring going backwards. Who'd have thunk that?
I was just about to mention that. Yeah, well, Juarez started really good pressuring Barthelemy, but Barthelemy said, hey, I'm going back to that fighter you saw against Russell, and that
he's got to be careful. He's backhanding with the jab. That's illegal, what Barthelemy does with the jab. Correct, Abner?
Yeah, that's really not a punch there. The way he throws the punch, the jab more than anything is he's throwing it with the backhand, and it's really not legal.
Well, as you pointed out earlier, Mauro, both these fighters, in addition to the low blows, there's an elbow, there was hitting out. He hit Mendez when he was down.
Earlier this year, the Super Bowl, you're saying, you told us earlier you don't want to see the what?
The low blow bowl, yeah. And both these men have had points deducted for other things besides low blows. So,
Final minute of what has been a, well, mostly get to know you round so far. The hands not flying for Barthelemy, but utilizing that unique stance, just flicking the jab while Juarez just moving slowly against the ropes, but not much in terms of offense here.
Get those up, get him up, get him up.
Just over half a minute remaining in the first round, both still in single digits in terms of punches landed in the first 3 minutes. So we're coming off a fight in which they combined for the most punches landed so far this year across the entire sport. Oh, there's a nice left uppercut from Barthelemy.
Yeah, Juarez overreaching there. Obviously, being the smaller fighter, you got to be careful right there because Barthelemy takes advantage.
Nice left down the middle by the
Listen for that bell, gentlemen.
Barthelemy.
Time.
Of course, Barthelemy will switch stances.
let's take a look at what these men need to do and the keys to victory. I said go ahead and switch. He did very quickly into round number one. And when he is a lefty, I thought the right hook, and it still could be a big weapon for him. I say box a little, slug a little. You know, he wants to push him backwards and land punches, but also wants to box from time to time. For Juarez, you know, a careful aggression, which he started out with in round one. He doesn't want to be reckless. He is a very good body puncher. His left hook to the body is superb. He wants to land that punch. And his big power punch in this fight, especially if Barthelemy is a lefty, is the right hand.
Number two. Go back for me.
Bell and round number two. They share one common opponent, Al Rivera, whom Barthelemy outpointed over 10 rounds. Meanwhile, Rivera responsible for Juarez's lone loss via 10-round majority decision, a fight in which Juarez went down for the only time in his career.
And that knockdown was courtesy of a right hook by the lefty Rivera. So it further demonstrates that Barthelemy might want to try that punch.
Especially when you overreach. That's exactly what Juarez did when he got knocked down there. He tried to go for an uppercut from a long distance, and he got counter.
And Barthelemy goes back to orthodox, but again, just flicking away with the lead hand.
Juarez making it easy for Barthelemy to take control of the center of the ring, especially the distance. Juarez has to put a lot more pressure, get inside, being the smaller guy.
In the loss to Rivera, Juarez only averaged 35 punches per round. In his last 3 fights, wins, he's averaged 65 punches per round. In this fight, he's back to the low volume Omar Juarez.
Yeah, Juarez known for his hook to the body, unable to get it on track again against a guy like Barthelemy, a slickster, constantly moving back and forth. That's going to be difficult, but here Juarez goes foraging and lands a left uppercut on the inside.
And it's not like Barthelemy's doing much either. I mean,
I think it's a respect almost for what Barthelemy has accomplished down there. Almost seems like the youngster is realizing, wait a minute, I got a former 2-division champion, a man from the school of Cuban boxing in front of me.
Well, you know, if you got to show that. If you're Barthelemy, give him that school. Throw your beautiful punches from the outside. But he's not doing as much. There's a beautiful left hand.
Left hand by Barthelemy to Juarez on the ropes. But it's single shots. Juarez has thrown just 11 punches with just over a minute remaining in the second. That won't cut it against a guy like Barthelemy. He'll take this all night, Al.
Yeah, he will, and the reason for I reference that stat is Juarez changed his approach, and it was effective for him. In this fight, he's not been able to follow that previous game plan. We'll see if he can.
And Juarez had a most inauspicious start to his career. Was dropped 3 times in his first amateur fight, lost his first 10 fights in the unpaid ranks, and somehow managed to overcome, managed to form that self-belief, and you know, watching motivational tapes and then becoming a motivational speaker, that'll get you to this stage.
Yeah, and his work down, you mentioned his work down in Texas. It's very impressive.
Countered left hands by Barthelemy, 2 most effective punches of the fight. And again, Barthelemy doubling up with the left.
Listen for that bell, gentlemen.
Barthelemy playing, showboating.
The only thing is, when he comes in, you start moving, You're doing great, but just keep doing this. The hand has to be on top. And then the jab. He's also trying to timing you, so try to be careful. That's the only thing he does. Because of your velocity, that's the only thing he's trying to do, trying to time you.
Let's go. You gotta be aggressive. Let everything go. Let everything you got. You gotta leave it here today, all right? Everything you got. You gotta leave it here. All right? Deep breath.
Omar Juarez's trainer, Rick Nunez, wants him to ratchet up the aggression as we embark on round 3, scheduled for 10 here at the Chelsea Theater at the Cosmopolitan Hotel in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas.
And Orlando Cuellar, the trainer of Barthelemy, who is back with him in his second fight after being with Barthelemy early in his career. Cuellar, of course, known as the trainer of Glenn Johnson, the great light heavyweight champion.
The Road Warrior.
Yes, wonderful fighter, and Cuellar helped him a lot. Wow,
and that left hand delivering for Barthelemy, but finally that aggression that trainer Rick Nunez is looking for from the 23-year-old Juarez as he begins to walk down his opponent.
And that's the aggression we all wanted to see also from Juarez. I mean, that's where you want to be. Being the shorter fighter, you know, make Barthelemy smother his punches in the inside. You go ahead and you let go of your punches. The uppercut, he's got a beautiful uppercut. Speaking of
an uppercut from Barthelemy.
But that was a beautiful on cue for Barthelemy. But that's because, again, Juarez is giving Barthelemy that distance.
And that first minute of this round is the fighting personality of Juarez, and he got back to it during that period.
You know, in his last 5 track fights, Barthelemy averaging just 42 punches around as Juarez now chopping him down with the right hand. Barthelemy throwing more than that thus far early in this fight, but Juarez coming back and finally having his first signs of some success here in the 3rd frame as we pass the midway point of the round.
As a smaller guy for Juarez, you want to throw the overhand right, especially when Barthelemy is trying to get away from the ropes.
That left hand has been the money shot for Barthelemy, the switch hitter, Al.
Yeah, you know, the right hook, we mentioned it could be a good weapon for him, but the left has been impressive. And that's because even though he's just flicking those jabs, they've kind of helped him get the left hand in. When Juarez cedes territory like he is now and doesn't fight like he did in the first minute of this first round, he's kind of giving Barthelemy this fight.
Yeah. Both come from fighting families. Both have brothers who have boxed. But Juarez walking down. There's that left hook to the body. One of his trademark punches. And now Barthelemy backing up. High peekaboo guard. Maybe trying to get Juarez to punch himself out. But at 23, he's just getting started.
And that's the personality of Juarez in the ring when he's at his best.
It's the counter punching from Barthelemy, waiting for the right moment to let go of his punches.
Listen for that bell, gentlemen. Time right there at the bell.
Take a deep breath, son. Beautiful round. Hey, telling you, baby, it's on the inside. It ain't out here. It ain't out there. It's on the inside. He don't want to be there with you. He's too old, son. He can't keep that pace.
Well, Juarez early in that round using the jab to work his way in and going to the body. Now Barthelemy doing some good counterpunching and going back himself to the body, and he is a good body puncher, by the way. But it's the aggression of Juarez that in that round certainly at least gave him a better opportunity to win the round. Whether he did or not is another question. And pulling away with the jab, Barthelemy doesn't want to be on the ropes. Now there's a left hand that's straight a little low. That certainly is going to be a concern for Juarez, as Morrow chronicled his previous issues.
Round at number 4, and you mentioned Barthelemy's body attack in his last 5 fights. 36% of his total connects were to the flanks. So, but here his jab is what he's trying to establish. And, you know, he talked to us about building. It's all about legacy now, and he says he's going for the knockout, and the refrain has been letting his hands fly. Well, that hasn't exactly been the case here as we embark on round 4, Abner.
Yeah, and this is where you want to take advantage. If you're Juarez, you want to go and be that exactly the younger fighter, impose your will, impose the volume. I mean, you're the fresher man in there, and start working the body when you're in the inside. I know there's going to be counterpunching for Barthelemy, but hey, you know, you just have to outwork this older man.
There's a chopping left hand, and really has been the most effective punch from either fighter. The left hand of Barthelemy. A minute gone in the 4th.
See, and those are things you don't want to do if you're Juarez. You're reaching.
Al, what surprised you the most thus far? What, you know, in terms of Juarez and what we've seen of him, is there anything that you're finding a little odd based on what you've seen in tape?
You know, the fact that he is ceding the territory to Barthelemy. I'm not saying it's easy to attack, but as Abner's pointing out, you know, when he jabs his way in and he pushes him on the ropes, he can be effective. You know, he does it in spots, but less than I think we anticipated.
Yeah, Barthelemy gives you those moments. I mean, he's a fighter that he is easy to, you know, push back. He puts himself in that position. Look, he takes those 2 steps and he'll stay on the ropes. He'll give you those opportunities.
And here Juarez trying to take advantage of Barthelemy being on the ropes. The pace had abated, but now it picks up here with just over a minute left in the 4th. And Juarez beginning to unload, going to the body. Right hook to the body, right uppercut on the inside. And here comes 23-year-old Omar Juarez finally cooking in this fight.
And there it is. You can tell based on the face from Barthelemy, he doesn't like being in there.
Juarez pairing that jab, trying to control the lead hand of Barthelemy from the southpaw stance. Goes to the body and just misses with the counter left from Barthelemy. Nice body shot by Juarez.
Yeah, and what he doesn't want to do is throw those body punches from too far out where we saw him almost get countered. But he does want to get into the range where he can do it. a better round, I think, for Juarez overall.
I think so, yes.
Thrown more punches, landed more punches. A much better round for Omar Juarez. And there's a man who was, well, been in the ring with Omar Juarez. Mario Barrios has sparred with Juarez, and Juarez has nothing but admiration for Barrios, saying he's an incredible fighter, and he learned a lot from being in the ring with him, and Barrios now campaigning at 147.
Well, see, there was some awkward action. Well, there's a left hand by Barthelemy again that might have, for him, strayed a little low, and their legs got tangled up there. And Juarez actually commenting on the low blow from Barthelemy.
You're doing a good job, but we need more damage. More damage. All right. Yeah, let's go, baby.
You look at the long, illustrious history of the 140-pound weight class. One of the best was the Mexican legend Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., who has given some tips and even gave Omar Juarez the inspiring words of, hey, I'll see you at the top.
Yeah, very nice. And you saw Mario Barrios, who has sparred with him. And Brandon Figueroa has sparred with Juarez as well.
Those Texans.
Texans, yeah. And so he's taken full advantage of sparring with some of these great fighters.
And notice Brian Mendoza sitting right next to him, too. He's coming off a great victory over Fundora.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest upsets of the year. And what a moment for Brian Mendoza. And again, what a year it has been for the sport of boxing. And he got out to a tremendous start here tonight. That's a much more cautious affair here with Barthelemy. Maybe saying all the right things, but much different in practice against Omar Juarez, a fighter on the way up.
You said a key word, cautious. Being cautious would not get you victories.
Well, it's no longer cautious.
And here it is. You got to get on top of this guy.
Digging away to the body with the left hooks, but again, the veteran Barthelemy, high guard, and now fires back with a couple of left hooks of his own.
And a reminder that Juarez is not a big puncher, only the 5 KOs. So Barthelemy, while he certainly doesn't want to give away rounds by allowing that to happen, isn't concerned maybe in his mind about being knocked out.
True. Barthelemy sitting down on those left hands, but it's Juarez putting on the pressure, backing Barthelemy up. Juarez with the lead right, another lead right on the southpaw, and Barthelemy fires back, losing balance momentarily.
And to add to that, Barthelemy's not the biggest puncher either. So Juarez can get it in there also and feel comfortable. So
good point.
Barthelemy has been down 3 times, while Juarez went down in that fight against their one common opponent, the left-hander Al Rivera, who handed Juarez his only loss. And that was a debatable decision as well.
Very close, yeah.
Nice body work from Juarez. Now beginning to sit down, find the range. Double left hand, the left uppercut, left hook, right hand. Now Omar Juarez beginning to showcase his craft.
Beautiful way to keep a fighter busy with the volume from Juarez. Beautiful body punching as well. And again, Barthelemy doing the right things. He's trying to counter with 2 or 3 big shots. But, again, it's those moments where you have that reach right there as you want to take advantage of your Barthelemy.
And a key point for Juarez, he's been very careful not to stray low with his punches. As Maul pointed out, 3 point deductions against Austin Delay in his last fight.
We are at the halfway mark of this bout, scheduled for 10 rounds between Rances Barthelemy and Omar Juarez. Barthelemy looking to bounce back from his first stoppage loss, while Juarez seeks his 4th consecutive win.
Okay, you got to put the arms a little up. No low blows.
But when you get on the ropes, it's when he does the only thing he can do, but it looks good. He's not doing nothing to you, but it looks good. So don't let him do that to you. Look, if you find yourself on the ropes, you got 2 choices, 3 choices. You either fire back, you either hold them, or you get out of there.
Well, this is where Barthelemy, putting himself on the ropes, as Abner pointed out, he'll do that. And the variety of punches from his opponent, I think, is, from Juarez, is what's impressive here. Using uppercuts, hooks to the body, some right hands, and attacking from different ways.
Yeah, and just being aggressive for Juarez works for him, obviously, especially if you want to win this round. So you want the judges to see that, you are the aggressive fighter and trying to win this fight.
We begin the second half of this fight. Round number 6, Rances Barthelemy fighting out of the southpaw stance, the switch hitter, former 130 and 135-pound belt holder, looking to, well, one day he hopes to become Cuba's first 3-division champ, now campaigning at 140. Omar Juarez looking to extend his winning ways as we bring in our unofficial scorer, Steve Farhood. How do you have it at the midway point?
Well, Mo, I have Barthelemy ahead 48-47, but I've given Juarez the last 2 rounds. It's very simple for Juarez. When he stands around on the outside and does nothing, he pretty much loses the round because of Barthelemy's left hand. But when Juarez works, Barthelemy doesn't answer, and Juarez piles up points, which he's done in rounds 4 and 5. So 48-47 for the Cuban.
Did I mishear Barthelemy in the fighter meeting when he said he was going to let his hands fly and he was going for the knockout? Did I misunderstand?
No, he did say that.
But I mean, he's fighting a smart fight.
Yeah, and depending on those rounds, Steve had the first 3 for Barthelemy, which certainly can make.
And he's landed a lot of punches, the left hand especially.
Exactly. So will he do what he does? Barthelemy has won some decisions, like against Relik when he won his title that some didn't think he deserved, but he's gotten those close decisions on occasion. So, he might be able to fight this fight where he's working the whole 45-second clock, if you will.
And to Steve Farhood's point, this is where Omar Juarez is most successful after, and it's not rocket science. That's what he needs to do. Put the pressure on, bring the volume, bring the combinations, stalk the older Barthelemy, make him work for every second.
Yeah, I don't know why he does not start like that. He's waiting towards the end of this round to do so, trying to steal the round. And again, Barthelemy doing the right thing, trying to, get away from the ropes. He's not staying still anymore.
And again, it's an education in, progress here for Omar Juarez. First championship caliber fighter against the slickster Barthelemy, who knows all the tricks. Some of them, well, maybe not as legal as others, but he really seems, and it's not like he's playing with them, but it's interesting, his body language, the mannerisms, and the way he's just flicking out that jab almost haphazardly.
When you have that many fights as an amateur, as a pro, so and you noticing a fighter really not pressing, it's those moments that you take advantage to do things like that. Having fun, waiting for the right moment, pickpocketing your shots, and just moving around, and that's what Barthelemy is doing.
Nice. There's a solid combination by Juarez. Barthelemy fighting back, and finally things are heating up. He brings experience, 22 knockouts in his 24 victories. We are expecting a hard-hitting, explosive affair coming up in the main event. Do you hear us, Barthelemy and Juarez?
Now, the interesting thing is that, Juarez has thrown less punches, about 50-some less punches than Barthelemy. I wouldn't have expected that necessarily at this point in the fight. Although, according to show stats, he's landed more. But, he's setting himself up for some difficult...
And it's getting to the point, although here on Steve Farhood's unofficial scorecard, he has it even, but I was going to say, who knows how the judges have it, and with now this being the 7th, Juarez has to start coming forward and has to definitely ratchet up the offense like he's doing.
Yeah, there's got to be some urgency from him and his corner to tell him that, you got to press, you got to pressure, you got to throw a lot more punches from Juarez.
Also, I'm going to go back to a theme I mentioned earlier. A lot of Juarez's punches are body punches. Judges didn't like that too much in the last fight, did
they? No, they didn't.
And again, I'm not suggesting that Sims didn't win that fight, but the lack of, giving credit for the body punches was evident.
And it's not just, a lot of these judges, I don't know why they don't like the body punching. It's their punches and they're landing.
There's a left uppercut by Barthelemy. But again, he is just pot-shotting with the jab, flicking the jab, and he's not being pressured. He's able to do so because Juarez is doing this, standing in front of him, not delivering any punches, not putting the pressure on. Giving away precious seconds.
Well, in the keys, I said careful aggression for Juarez, not this careful.
And there, Barthelemy landing with a combination of the body. Juarez coming forward in spurts, but then pays for it too. Counter body shot by Barthelemy. Final minute of the 7th.
But even then, the high guard right now from Barthelemy, the punch is really not getting in and waiting, you know, waiting to throw the body shot from Barthelemy.
Barthelemy, 14 years the elder of Juarez, and in some ways it's almost like he is acting like the big brother. The way, look at his mannerism.
Yeah.
Now Barthelemy's hands are low, baiting Juarez, trying to lure him in. Juarez, meanwhile, backing up and finally flashes the jab. Counter, right lands for Barthelemy.
Listen for that bell, gentlemen.
Deep breath, deep breath, deep breath. ¿Cómo te sientes?
Good.
All right, baby. 3 rounds left to go.
3 rounds.
Hey, I need these 3 rounds. I need that pace to be sky high, son. I don't want to leave nothing in the hands of the judges. I think you're winning these fucking rounds, but you've seen shit happen. All right?
You gotta pick it up, son. You gotta pick, man.
He cannot keep up with your pace. You're letting him. He's only in this fight still because you let him.
Barthelemy is
That's
very
right.
adept at doing enough to win a round, and maybe that's what he did the last round, landing that uppercut and Abner showing enough aggression at spots.
At spots, at moments. Again, is a smart fighter. He picks shots really well, and using that distance as well.
Domina.
And this is also a moment where you want to dominate if you're Barthelemy. If Juarez really not giving you that pressure, giving you those moments to let your hands go, okay, Barthelemy, be that guy.
This is round number 8 scheduled for 10. Juarez at the behest of his trainer, Rick Nunez. Nunez wants his output to be sky high. He wants him to go all out over the last 3 rounds, putting the pressure now on Barthelemy. Has him in the corner.
And you know what? He's only averaging 37 punches thrown per round, Juarez. And we mentioned that since that loss to Rivera, he had ratcheted up his numbers to around 65 per round, and that's why he was successful. And so they want more volume from him.
There's the right hand by Juarez.
And this is a fight where Juarez is going to go back home and watch and regret the fact that he didn't pressure or hasn't pressured as he needs to.
Oh, counter left hand from Barthelemy, and really for Barthelemy, he is just waiting to counter. He's not looking to let his hands fly, not looking for the knockout. He just wants to continue to counter as we look at records past round 7.
Yeah, and you know, as we head into these later rounds, Juarez, 8 of his last 9 fights have gone the distance. You know, he goes the distance a lot, and as does Barthelemy often. You know, this is one of those fights where allowing the pace to be this for Juarez is dangerous for him.
There's a counter left hook to the body by Barthelemy. Juarez being kept at bay by the jab, and he's not cutting off the ring. He's allowing Barthelemy to move freely. Now swinging wildly with the right hand. Sweeping left from Barthelemy with 60 seconds left in the 8th.
You know, Barthelemy hurt Gary Antuanne Russell, right, in the last fight, and landed some big power punches. He hasn't shown that inclination very much in this fight.
Yeah.
Well, he said that his trainer and strength and conditioning coach made a huge difference for him since the loss to Russell. And he said, and I quote, "You will see the kind of entertainment fans deserved on Saturday night," close quote.
Not so much are we seeing that really from Barthelemy. I mean, doing enough to win certain rounds.
Yeah.
Hey, the 37-year-old is allowed to, as we mentioned, and Al's mentioned, he's allowed to dictate this pace. This is the kind of pace he wants. Cat and mouse game.
But is it the pace that, you know, people want to watch? I don't know.
Well, and for Omar Juarez, he's got 2 rounds now, and again, a very close fight on Steve Farhad's scorecards. You never know how the judges have it, and Juarez's trainer knows that.
Keep touching him. Keep touching him. You're good. You're good. Everything's good. What round is this? What round is this? We're going to the 9th.
9 coming up. Okay, listen, you got to start
So
dominating this
Orlando
guy.
Cuellar kind of happy with the tempo of this fight as it's unfolding. And in that last round, you saw there were moments there, Barthelemy going downstairs. Nice combination of a double left hand from the left-handed stance. And here's Juarez, you know, attacking, kind of getting in an overhand right. And, you know, it wasn't a great punch, but that was the attacking kind of mode for him, which he wants to see more of. This, you know, it's going to be a tricky fight to score, I think.
By far the biggest fight of the 23-year-old Omar Juarez's career. He realizes and talked to us about what a victory over Barthelemy would mean. And now you talk about this division and the doors that it would open on a stage like this. But he's being kept at bay for the most part by the Cuban, Rances Barthelemy. And according to Steve Farhad, hey, it's nip and tuck. He has it dead even.
And really, has it been kept at bait? I mean, is really Juarez choosing not to press?
Yeah,
because Barthelemy really not doing a lot to keep Juarez in the outside. He'll let you in, you know, easy, but it's Juarez choosing not to press.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it's easy to say outside the ring, though you've been inside the ring in those situations. But yeah, it's you get the feeling that the style of Juarez, which is to jab your way in and do it.
Yeah,
I don't know. Good question.
That is something he's going to have to live for and view this fight, like I said, and you know, get mad at himself because he can. And he has at moments, but he's choosing not to.
According to Steve Farhad's scorecard, he's still very much in this fight. He could be winning.
And he may well be. You know, it's going to be interesting to see how the judges see the activity of these rounds.
This is with the right uppercut, lateral motion from Rances Barthelemy, going left to right, trying to avoid the jab of Juarez. Double jab, left uppercut, and then rips a left hook to the body. Counter left hook by Barthelemy to the head of Juarez.
And you can see Barthelemy able to land power punches, but then he doesn't want to keep doing it. Beautiful left uppercut. He decides to deaden the pace of the fight.
Yeah, Barthelemy's landed 50% of his power punches.
Yeah, think about
you are
that.
watching super lightweight action. This fight, in fact, contested at a contract weight of 143 pounds. Mauro Ranallo, along with Hall of Famer Al Bernstein, former 3-division champion, Abner Mars at ringside.
You all right? Let's go.
And Thomas Taylor calls for the break. Brian Custer, Jim Gray, Jimmy Lennon Jr., and our entire Showtime Championship boxing crew bringing you the action from the Chelsea here at the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas.
You know, in the fight he lost to Rivera, Juarez landed 50% of his power punches, everything other than the jab. Here's Barthelemy, and he lost. Here's Barthelemy landing 50% of his power punches, and yet it doesn't seem like that kind of power output, does it?
Yeah, Juarez has been busier. Nice chopping left hand over the top by Barthelemy. Goes back to orthodox momentarily. Final 10 seconds of the penultimate round. 37-year-old Rances Barthelemy, former 2-division champion. 23-year-old Omar Juarez in the biggest fight of his career. 1 round left.
Hey, they have it even on the unofficial after this round right here.
We gotta win this round, Alex.
Whoever wins this round is gonna win the fucking fight. I need you to empty out the fucking tank. All right? Everything.
We're going to touch gloves at the belt.
Look at a fucking pit pad on the outside.
You're showing you belong, son.
We're going to touch gloves at the belt. Got you.
When the bell sounds, touch gloves with him.
Work that front hand, but this time you got to knock this guy out. We didn't knock him the fuck out, but do it intelligently. No te regales. Hey, careful how you knock him out, or how you try to knock him out. Work that front hand again. Make yourself look. Stay off the fucking ropes. When you're on the ropes, you give him back points. Le está regalando punto on the ropes. This is it. Last round. Last round, baby. Last round.
10th and final round.
Keep it clean.
Rances Barthelemy looking to bounce back from his first stoppage loss against Gary Antuanne Russell. Omar Juarez looking to make it 4 wins in a row and open doors to bigger fights. But you heard his corner, Rick Nunez. He wants Juarez to come out. Guns a-blazing, all out. And now Juarez stalking and trying to unload, and now beginning to unload on Barthelemy on the ropes. Now showcasing some of the hand speed. Juarez putting combinations together.
And look at how much better Juarez looks when he lets his hands go. Beautiful combinations, well-placed punches, and beautiful ending to the body.
Considering the pace of the fight and the amount of punches thrown for the next 2 minutes, there should be enough in the 23-year-old fighter to go all out.
Yeah, unless Barthelemy lands something significant as a counterpunch, but if not, yes, 100%.
And it was more at moments that Juarez was too much worried about the counterpunching from Barthelemy.
Yes.
And that's not something good that you want to keep in your head. You just want to go out there and let your hands go. He is going to come back with something, but, let your hands speak. Let your hands go.
That's a great comment. That is so on point.
90 seconds left in the fight. Left hand lands for Barthelemy. And after a brief flurry of action to kick off the round, Juarez again back on his back foot. And now being backed up by the Cuban veteran.
Yeah, it's interesting. He's thrown double the punches in this round, but the perception of him going back, even when Barthelemy's not throwing anything.
And Barthelemy lands 2 left hands. A minute left in the fight. Who wants it more? Who wants to make a definitive statement? Where's the sense of urgency? The fact 45 seconds remain.
From both sides.
From both sides. Barthelemy did not let his hands fly. Omar Juarez trying to do so now. They exchange body shots. 30 seconds left. And there was a shot to the cup. I heard it. It's the low blow bowl.
Right here. All right. All right.
Well, it took the final minute of the fight for
okay. Good to go.
One of those ignominious stats to bear fruit.
And referee Taylor doing the right thing, not overreacting to that.
It will come down to the 3 judges at ringside to determine a winner in this 10-round contest. Rances Barthelemy trying to audition for a show on the strip with his histrionics at the end. He climbs the corner. He feels he's done enough to record the victory, utilizing his vast experience and boxing acumen from Cuba, while Omar Juarez, we'll see if his 3-fight winning streak becomes a 4-fight win streak.
In the first fight, we talked about both men doing almost exactly what we expected them and what they hoped to do. This is a fight, to be brutally frank, in which neither man quite did exactly what they wanted to do. Now, that isn't to say we don't know who's going to win, and it isn't to say that they didn't have their moments, but it wasn't the kind of sustained effort I don't think either man really wanted. and we look at the final numbers. One of them that's astonishing is 49% of all power punches, which is everything other than jab, landing for Barthelemy. Normally, Juarez is at 41% of his power punches. He landed at 33. The edge a little bit skewing toward Juarez in terms of overall landed, but, you know, it indicates that we're not sure how this one's going to go.
All right, we are sitting on tenterhooks awaiting the official decision from Jimmy Lennon
Did I
Jr.
sense sarcasm in your voice, Mauro?
But let's get back to boxing, shall we? Here's Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of action, we have a majority decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Max DeLuca, scores the action 95-95, even a draw. Overruled by judges Dave Moretti, who sees it 97-93, and Patricia Morse-Jarman scoring the action 98-92 in favor of the winner, Kid Blast Rances Barthelemy.
37-year-old Rances Barthelemy bouncing back from his first stoppage loss to record the victory and picks up his 30th professional win while sending Omar Juarez to his second defeat. Let's go to Jim Gray.
All right, Mauro, thank you very much. Rances, congratulations. How would you assess your performance here in this fight?
Fue una pelea inteligente, ¿no? Sabía que iba con un hombre mucho más joven que yo, entonces traté de hacerla, ganarla con la mente, más que con el físico.
I tried to win it. I knew I was going against a younger fighter. I tried to win it more intelligent with the brains, and that's what I did.
Does it bother you the fans don't seem to be happy with this decision?
Parece que no están muy convencidos con la decisión.
Bueno, yo entiendo que los fanáticos, la mayoría del fanático mexicano, apoya mucho a su público, pero yo también aquí puedo ver a mi público cubano que me abuchea.
Yeah, no, I understand that most of the fans are Mexicans here and they were going for Juarez, but in this corner too, I also have my Cuban fans that they were cheering.
Want to become the Cuban to win in 3 weight divisions, so that dream still stays alive. Would you like a rematch, however, with Gary Antuanne Russell? Would you like to do that next?
¿Quieres una revancha con Gary Antuanne Russell otra vez de regreso?
Sí, más que el título, anhelo un título, pero si me dan a escoger, como lo dije en la conferencia de prensa, Gary Antuanne, anímate, tú me dijiste que me ibas a dar la revancha. Come on, Gary, let's do it.
I want this more than even a title. I want that rematch with Gary Antuanne Russell. I want it badly.
Rances, thank you. Felix, thank you. Congratulations. All right, Mauro, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Jim. Yes, Rances Barthelemy's dream of becoming the first Cuban 3-division champion remains alive as he picks up the victory here. As we go to our unofficial scores, Steve Hard, let's look at the official scores first, and then your own, sir.
Well, basically, Mo, Barthelemy won this fight by winning the first and second rounds on all 3 cards and the 9th and 10th on all 3 cards. The judges agreed, interestingly, on only 4 of the 10 rounds. So it was apparently not that easy to score all veteran officials. Take a look at my card. I had it even, 95-95, same as Max DeLuca. Barthelemy got off to a good start on my card, and then Juarez rallied. So really, it came down to what you like, Juarez's pressure or Barthelemy's boxing.